I'm Matias Timonen, and one night I ended up staying the night, or until 4 a.m., on my neighbor's barren mattress. That sounds wrong. It sounds like I had sexual relations with this woman. Haha, motherfucker. Yeah.
Hi Matias.
Hey. Violently attacked me immediately.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
We're not podcasting anymore.
First things first, can I please ask you, why does it say Moses or Jesus?
I want it to be mysterious.
So you don't actually have a reason as to why?
No. Or maybe I do.
Ooh, mysterious. Okay, dude, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and tell me your story.
You basically know the story, so
I live
if
this story.
you lived the story, but you lived a different version of it. You and I used to live together, and we had a schizophrenic neighbor. Schizophrenia is not dangerous for other people.
Right.
The only danger comes from your own perception, because they can act erratically because they see things that you don't.
Yeah.
That is in their mind. And of course, when you see something like that, that makes you kind of be a bit wary. But I must point out that schizophrenic people are not dangerous. So if you meet the schizophrenic people, do not worry. You can help them, because they're not gonna hurt you. You and me had a neighbor who suffered, unfortunately, from schizophrenia. And one night around 10:30, we hear a knocking from our door. Aggressive knocking. And sure enough, it is our neighbor. We know that she has mental illness, but we don't know how severe it is. So I let her in, of course, because she seems distraught. And I'm like, okay, can I make you a cup of tea or something? And she's like, no, it's all good. And I'm like, fair enough, okay. I sit with her. She's very silent, just kind of mumbly looks at the distance. And I'm like, well, I have helped her before. I have helped her to get to ambulance, so it's all good. Like, I just chill with her for an hour, and then she's probably good. And she has this party dress on, so I try to make conversation. I'm like, were you out, or like, what happened? Like, where are you coming from? And she's like, oh, I partied with my mom. I'm like, okay, that's cool, like partying with mom. And she says, yeah, but when I came home, some people in camo suits followed me. And I'm like, come again? So I'm like, okay, so this is one of those episodes, but that's okay. I'm like, okay, now we need help. So at that point, I think I text you.
Yeah.
So you call an ambulance, and I'm just like chit-chatting to her and whatnot, and then you text me back like something like, the ambulance is gonna be here from like 45 minutes to 6 hours. And I'm like, 6 hours? I can't wait for 6 fucking hours. I ask like, why can't we go to your apartment? Like, and she doesn't really say anything. It's just, I don't get any reason for it, really. If I remember correctly, at that point, I'm like, well, if you cannot get an ambulance, call a police.
Yeah.
Like, call someone.
The police, if you remember, the police ask me and I ask you, do you feel threatened? And we're like, well, no, but like, it's gonna be 7 hours. Like.
Eventually, I got her to come with me to the apartment. First, when I enter, like, there's this like chandelier type of thing, nothing too fancy, but it's like part wooden and it's part broken too. Oh dear. Spider webs everywhere. This woman is living in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not abandoned, she's actually living there. There's this giant like wooden table, kind of like this one, but the top part is glass, and the glass is obviously shattered. So I'm like, okay. It's very barren. It's the broken table, a TV in the corner, and a large couch on the other corner. That's
Was there
that's
a
all.
room with just a mattress in it or something?
Yeah, upstairs. I go upstairs. There's the toilet. Toilet looks fine, surprisingly.
Oh, of all places.
Of all places in there, like, the toilet is meticulous. There's 2 bedrooms. The one that is like a, I don't know, guest bedroom or like the extra room is there's just mattress, nothing on top of it, nothing, no sheets, nothing, just a mattress. And then there's 2 paintings. They're like vampires. They're not like your Edward Cullen type of thing. They're actually like demonic. They look terrifying. Even if those were in haunted house experience, I would be like, you're going too far. Like, stop it. I'm not having fun. So I go to the master bedroom. There's a broken mirror. The closet door is kind of like hanging vertically from it. The bed is meticulous. Like, the bed is perfect. It's like king size, majestic. It's red and black. It's beautiful and it's made perfectly. So I'm like, okay, how about I go home now? and you can stay here. She's like, oh no, can you stay a bit? So I'm like, okay, I'll stay. Like, I'm not gonna leave you. We'll leave you like right now because you're still distraught. So we go downstairs and I sit on the couch and she like, do you want to watch some TV? And I'm like, well, yeah. He opens the TV and you know that block that goes from corner to corner, like the LG block when nothing is on. It's just like, so that comes on and I'm like, all right. She's like, okay, like let me change the channel. Nothing's happening, and she turns it around, looks at it. There's no batteries, and she's like, oh, someone must have stolen that. I'm like, who? Okay, I guess we're watching this. She never sits with me in the couch. On the couch, she's just like standing there. She's looking at like wall, like right here, and she's facing the wall, and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I can hear them through the wall. I'm like, who's that? There are no sounds of neighbors or anyone, because it's 2 a.m. So I'm trying to listen, like, I'm like, maybe she has a point. And she's starting to say like, oh, like, I'm not feeling safe here, so what if I sleep in my car? It goes in cycles. It goes like me saying like, okay, let's get you to bed and I'll wait here. And she's like, no, I want to sleep in my car. And I debunk that plan. I'm like, no. And then silence for 5 minutes, and then the same conversation again and again and again and again. I ask, so what makes the car a better choice than the apartment right now? And I explain rationally, like, the door will be locked, I will be next door, I can even watch you, like, fall asleep and go home, and everything will be alright. What makes the car better? And she's like, if they come for me, I can at least drive away. I'm like, 10 minutes of silence again, and she says like, I feel like I'm safe now, so if you want you can go home.
Police are still supposed to come.
Oh yeah, you're still on the phone. I come to your room immediately and you're still on the phone like, what are you doing here? And then I explained the situation, like, she stayed, that's pretty much it.
But then the next day,
yeah,
we found out what happened that night when you left, didn't we?
Yeah, apparently that night she went to the highway, walked all the way to the highway, and just like walked in incoming traffic. Thank God nothing happened. And someone found her, someone managed to get to the police that we couldn't, or an ambulance or someone, which just is the sad part, that's what it took, like, for her to walk in the traffic is what was the moment when you actually could get help. She went to a hospital. She came back like 6 weeks later. She was
a lot better.
Oh yeah, she was like, because she used to be super skinny, and she got a more weight, and she seemed much more healthy, and she would actually I remember the first time we saw her was, what did you do? You threw something on her yard.
Oh my God! Right after she came back from the hospital, I was juggling trash, and one of the trash bags ended in her balcony. That story's got quite the arc.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for telling us.
It was my pleasure.